Traders, psychology. In this video, we're going to be talking about specifically the overtrading loop, diving in a little bit more to psychological problems and diagnosing it and exploring it and trying to figure out how to prevent it and stop it. So, if you're a trader, I'm sure you can relate to this where you, yeah, it's just a sort of a challenge to to trade. So this is the overtrading loop, which is so damaging. The overtrading loop. So for me, it looks like this. It looks like watching live price action, If I do that long enough, I put on a bad trade, which causes me to watch live price action more. Can you relate to this? So, first of all, this is hugely damaging. It's hugely damaging psychologically, it's damaging financially, it's damaging socially. Because when you're putting on bad trades chronically, you lose money, it's stressful, but also just watching live price action is such a fucking waste of time. It's such a time sink. And it takes away presence, especially if you're doing it on your phone. Oh man, there's so much we're going to get into in this video. I'm really excited. But the way it happens for me is I go and I watch live price action. And the longer I watch live price action, eventually I think I see something and I put on a trade. Usually a bad trade. And it's not necessarily just putting on a trade, but it also might be exiting a trade I shouldn't exit. Like I see something in the chart in the live price action. Now, once I'm in a bad trade, now if I cut a loss early, it's easy to put the computer away for me to leave. But if I put on a bad trade, now I'm like, maybe the trade doesn't goes against me. I'm like, this didn't seem like the best trade. I don't know if I should have taken this. This is now I'm just staring at the chart. Now I'm looking for reasons to stay or debating if I should cut it. If it goes in my favor, I want to hold it. If it's going against me, I'm thinking I should cut it. And so there's a lot of things to unpack here, and we're going to get into this. Can you relate to this? Comment below if you can relate to this. So when I'm in a good trade, like a solid A+ trade, I don't feel the need to watch the trade as much. I understand it could lose, right? Say I see an A+ trade setup, which is 75% to win, 25% to lose. I accept that I can lose. I might risk more. I'm not gonna risk a crazy amount where losing is dire in any way. But I accept that I can lose. But when it's a good trade, I'm not second guessing it. Like I'm not happy to take that loss, but I accept to take that loss. It's not a bad loss. This is my A+ trade setup. I'm gonna put it on, and I don't need to watch it. It's really when I put on a bad trade that I'm watching live price action. Now, also, these A+ trade setups are so fucking obvious when I see them, okay? So, and generally they should be. When I look at a daily chart and there's an A+ trade setup, it's obvious, right? It's only when I stare at the chart for longer and longer that, hey, I think I see something. This might be okay. It's not A+, but maybe I'll take it. An A+ chart, an A+ setup on the daily is obvious. And for me, the way I trade, there's really only two kinds. There's a major breakout, like prices breaking down, and it closed under all the support, and it closed under the trend line. And what am I going to do? Charge in and long early? No, it's a continuation short, right? On the flip side of that, price is broken out. It's above all the resistance. It broke a diagonal resistance trend line, and that is a trend long opportunity. These don't come along very often. They happen, but they don't come along that often. And then the other one, which I actually prefer, is when there's a sweeping pin bar that takes out the lows of the range, price wicks back in, the wick of that candle is multiple times bigger than the candle body, maybe the candle changes color. We swept the lows of the last 2-3 days and closed higher. Or we swept the highs of the range, we swept the last couple highs, big wick up, wick down into the close. That is an A plus setup. It's obvious. These two are obvious. Again, there's going to be losers, but I know if I could only wait and trade these, then I will for sure be profitable. I won't necessarily make money every week, but I will probably make money every month. And I'll probably make a lot of money over a year if I simply wait for on the daily, sweeping pin bars, and major breakouts. So there's problems to this. In theory, it's easy, but there's problems. And it comes from this loop, where when I put on a bad trade, and I'm watching live price action, now I actually start to miss these obvious setups, these A plus setups, because I'm preoccupied with these losing trades. And I'm so worn out from all the chart watching that I might even see the A plus setup, but I don't want to trade it because I feel worn out, and or maybe I took a loss or was able to get out break even. I just don't want to trade anymore, and I don't trade the A plus. Or, and this is what I struggle with even more, is I load up the chart. There isn't an obvious A plus setup, and then I'm watching live price action. And then after a while, I see something like, this could work. It's not A plus, but it's good. I think I have an edge here. And then I do something, or I just take something that isn't great, and then I'm like, I put that on. Like, I'm not sure if I should have done that, or it's going against me. Now I want to watch it to see, is it going to turn around? Is it going to stop me out? We talked about this in the last video, that it can be addictive to put on losing trades. Even if you're losing all the time, this is still addictive. Why? Because you go through an emotional roller coaster. Putting on the trade, it's exciting. There's hope and possibility of making money. You think about the money you can make. It goes in your favor, euphoria, I'm right, it goes against you. Stress, and there's drama in that, the roller coaster. And that even when you lose, at least there's the relief of getting out of a losing position. So even when you lose, you experience all the emotions, including positive emotion when it ends, because you're relieved that you got out of a losing trade. So it can be very addictive and very challenging. Now, something I want to point out, we're going to get into triggers for this and try to how to prevent them. So it is important to, when you trade, it is important to get a lot of chart time. It's important to get a lot of chart time in order to be get that pattern recognition skills, right? Ideally, you look at 1 million charts, you'll get 10,000 hours of charts. Here's the thing though. Most of the top professional traders, not all of them, some of them trade the low time frames. Most of the best ones do not trade the low time frames. A lot of them, there are a lot who do, but the odds are much better for those who trade higher time frames. A lot of the hedge funds, money managers, they trade the daily time frame, they trade the weekly time frame. So, and this is what I do, or what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to trade these daily pin bar sweeps. I'm supposed to trade these daily major breakouts, and I'm supposed to do nothing in between. Now, the experience of this chart history comes from what? It comes from not from watching live price action. Live price action has zero to do with my system, right? So you need experience with chart time, but you don't need experience watching live price action, right? a lot of these professionals, the best guys, they look at the daily chart of 1,000 stocks a day, 1,000 different assets a day, just going through charts. So this is where I get astray. Is like, yeah, I need the chart time of watching all these live charts, but I watch one chart long enough. I want to put on I decide to put on a trade. Now I'm watching it develop live. Now it goes against me. I cut it when I'm not supposed to cut it. It goes in my favor. I add when I'm not supposed to add, so on and so forth. So this is the problem. We're diagnosed the problem. So what I want to look at is what are the triggers? What are the triggers that cause us to enter into this cycle? Like, how does this start, right? Okay, so there's a number of them. The first one is just habit. So, like, if I'm in the habit of watching live price action, I'm in the habit of watching live price action. I'm in the habit of it. I'm in the habit, right? That is a serious problem and a serious challenge. I need to change my habits. Belief's the next thing. I just want to write this down. We'll come back to it. So, in my case, I developed this habit over the year of trading to just like be plugged in all the time, and watching, and yeah, getting out of that habit isn't so simple, right? Like, okay, so to not watch to watch live price action also means to be on the charts for a long period of time as price action develops. If I'm only on the charts for 30 minutes a day, I essentially can't really watch live price action. I could watch 6 5-minute candles. I could watch 30 1-minute candles. So I'm trying to reduce the time that I spend on the charts, especially now that I'm in a place where I know exactly what I'm looking for. Either there's a daily sweeping pin bar. It doesn't necessarily need to be a pin bar, but it could be also a big sweep with a big wick, or a major breakout, and I don't need to trade everything, and I shouldn't. And when those things happen, I should put on size, accept that I'm going to lose them, and I'm okay losing them, wait for the next A plus setup, right? So, in the habit of, part of my solution here is habit, okay? So, I'm structuring my life so that I'm not in the habit of watching live price action because I'm only on the charts for an hour a day. And being on the charts an hour a day, I can still make a fortune. I can still be a professional trader. It can still be an important thing I'm doing. It doesn't require a lot of time to look at the chart and say, do I see an A plus setup? Yes or no. If not, I don't need more time on pattern recognition, and I certainly do not need any time watching live price action because I don't trade live price action. I trade daily charts. So, part of my habit, how do I create this habit of only 1 hour a day? Okay, well, there's certain components to it. The first one is I do not look at charts or trade on my phone. For whatever reason, that one has been very simple and easy for me to, when I decided I'm not going to trade or chart on my phone, it's been really simple. And I think a lot of it is because since I've, like, this is a loop of bad trades and watching live price action. When I removed all the trading apps from my phone, I'm not really interested in watching live price action knowing that I can't trade. So I think that's why that worked so well. Now, there's also the scheduling habit. I've been in the habit of blocking off 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. No, and part of the last year was all day to trade. Okay, so now I have a scheduling problem, which is habitual. I need to schedule so that, okay, I trade the close. I want to start an hour early, around 1 p.m., and I want to finish right after the close around 2 p.m. It doesn't really bother me if I enter 15 to 30 minutes early because the candle is pretty much set at that point. It's over 90% formed, and it's going to be an accurate signal, and I can get up and I can leave. I don't want to go earlier than that, and I don't really want to go too much later than that. I want to stay within 30 minutes plus or minus the daily close, the daily open. So part of that is we're going to come back to this in another category, but scheduling my life and making my life more interesting. I have other things to do. It doesn't make sense to full-time trade. It doesn't make sense to full-time trade. It just doesn't really make sense. I mean, it can make sense as like getting a full-time income, but it doesn't make sense to spend full-time trading because you get in this loop. Maybe some people don't and they can, but for me, I get in this loop. And I don't need to sit there in front of a marshmallow I'm not supposed to eat and say, I need to be more disciplined. Just go out in the fucking world, do something else. Put the computer away, right? So, making my life more habit, making my life more, just fixing my habit around this. Okay. Now, I'm gonna write out some other things just so I remember them. Laptop, trade ideas, boredom, trade talk. Need to make money. Okay, let's cover these one by one. So, belief. Now, part of the problem with this is I've had a belief, and this is an incorrect belief, and I'm correcting this belief now. The belief was that I should monitor my trade closely, put all my eggs in that one basket and watch the basket closely. I need to see if an exit trigger happens, and I need to get out. So I need to keep checking. Or I need to see if there's an entry opportunity. It could happen at any moment, so I need to be plugged in all the time. This is false, and it leads to this, obviously, when I think like, well, I should check first thing in the morning to see if I should exit. Or I should check before I go to sleep to see if I should exit. And then what ends up happening is I exit before I should, or I put on a bad trade. It's going in my favor, I add to it. But it's not anywhere near the daily candle close, right? So that's a harmful belief that leads to this. But the correct belief, which I have now, which I'm realizing, is that for the most part, trading low time frames is a scam. There's a few people who can do it. It's very rare. It's very hard because you have to have the huge props to people who trade a low time frame and are have good lives and are consistently profitable. I know it's possible. It's very hard. There are a lot more people who trade the daily charts. It's a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to be profitable because the daily signals are much more accurate. You don't need to be quick on the trigger. You have plenty of time to make your decision, and it's easy to backtest daily charts. You have a system, and once you have a backtested data, I don't want to deviate from that backtested data and venture into the unknown. If I have something that I know works, I want to stick to what I know works. I don't want to venture into the unknown of what actually I know at this point does not work, which is trading a low time frame. So it's now in my belief that I should not even check my position. It has a stop loss. It has a take profit. All that can happen for me checking the position is exiting on a retracement or adding as it moves in my favor when I shouldn't. And now when it gets retraced, I'm going to get stopped out when I shouldn't. And then I'm going to be not take the next trade. So overtrading comes from the belief that I need to monitor my positions, and that the real correct belief is that I need to leave my positions alone. If I'm trading the daily chart, I need to respect my stop. I put my stop at the low, I put my stop at the high, and come back and check in 24 hours. The price could be coming against me, but that could just be the wick on the daily before it moves in the other direction, right? There's no need, no reason, there's no benefit, there's no advantage to checking all the time. It's only harmful, it only hurts. It's not what you want. I want to just check the daily signal once a day for an hour, and I know I can make a fortune doing that. And I'll make way more than doing all this other stuff. Okay, so another one that's triggering for me, I mentioned the phone isn't triggering for me. Just having the laptop is triggering for me. It's also the vehicle from which I can and will trade. So just being on the laptop, I don't want to be on my laptop outside of those trading hours. If I have like other computer work I need to do, like taxes, then that's a special situation, and I'll also try to schedule it in the same period of time. But the laptop is just sort of triggering to me, where if I'm on my laptop, it's associated with trading. And right now, what I'm doing is trying to put my laptop out of sight. It's in storage. I put it under in a bin. I put it under the bed here. That doesn't always work though. Sometimes I fish it out and look at it. So part of my solution is I've ordered. It's on the way. I have a lockbox for my timed lockboxes for my computer and my phone, just in case. If because it's not that hard to put it away, but I might take it out again. So once it's locking up my laptop, it's not hard to do, and then from that point, I don't need any discipline, right? And then if I start fucking around with my phone, I can lock my phone. I can set a timer. It comes off an hour before the close the next day. There's nothing I can do about it. Go out and live my life. I don't need discipline. So this requires a huge amount of discipline. You're watching live price action and trying not to trade. You put on a bad trade and you're trying not to watch live price action. It's ridiculous. I want my discipline to be on, I want to trade today, but this is not an A+ setup. Let me be disciplined and no trade today and put my computer away. Right, that's how I want to spend my discipline. I also want to spend my discipline on, I'm going to lift heavy today. I'm going to approach people and be social and talk to people, even if I don't necessarily want to improve my social life. Right, there's other areas outside of trading that I want to spend my willpower on. I don't want it all to go into trading. And this is such a willpower suck. It eventually breaks down everything. So, yeah, laptop. So trade talk and trade ideas. These ones are related. So the trade ideas. If I see someone has a trade idea and put on a trade, it's triggering for me to not even watch live price action, but to just want to copy it and go put on that trade. But I don't have a trade plan. I don't have the same indicators, and I don't know if this is a professional who's been waiting a long time or an amateur. And then even I found if I copy a professional trader, it always loses. It's always a losing trade, right? So, where do I see trade ideas? I see them on Twitter. I see them on Discord, primarily. What isn't triggering and isn't a problem for me is if I'm on YouTube and I'm having an interview with a trader. That's not triggering for me. What's also not triggering for me is if I'm on Instagram and there's a trading info content sort of a thing. What's triggering is someone said they put on a trade. They're long Bitcoin. They're short Bitcoin. It gives false confidence. It's just people are making money. I want to make money. So this I've been good at. I'm not exposed to trade ideas. I'm not exposed to trade ideas. I do not. I'm no longer on Twitter. It's been, I think, almost a couple months now. I'm no longer in any Discord chats. It's been a while on that too. Yeah, but trade talk. So there's one guy I talk to still. That can be triggering. Just seeing that I have a message from him or that I messaged him can be triggering, where now I want to check price. Especially if we're talking we have a signal, or he's going to put something I might be even go on the phone in the morning. He messaged me something about price, and now I want to check. So now I put on my laptop. Now I'm watching live price action at 7 a.m. before I'm fully awake, and I see something, and I either put on a bad trade, and then all of a sudden I'm I'm in the loop. So part of that as well is telling him like, hey, please don't message me anything about your trades you're in or current price. I don't want to know. We can sort of talk about systems and stuff like that, backtesting, setups, or the struggles we go through. That's okay. Um, Now the other one, which is related, is price. Like if I just see Bitcoin is at $27,500, now I want to look at a chart, and now I'm here. I'm gonna make a mistake. So I'm trying to not be exposed to price. I'm trying to not talk to anyone about trading or even hear where price is at. Um, Now there's two left. So boredom's another one. This is extremely entertaining. It's addictive. Again, losing is addictive because even when you lose, you get the relief of leaving a position, and you get the excitement of putting on a trade, and you get the dopamine cortisol roller coaster of going through that trade to the end. So even losing is addictive. So in all my experience of modifying behavior for myself, quitting alcohol, quitting weed, quitting tobacco, quitting porn, and my work as a habit coach in the past with young men who are going through similar things and helping people get results, it's always about improving the quality of life and giving better options. So part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm maybe a little bit bored in my outside life, and I certainly am. Like I've created a boring life, or made my life a lot more boring than it could be. I can easily make my life a lot more interesting, and that's my focus right now. But quitting my job made my life very boring. Now there's less social interaction, there's less intellectual stimulation, there's less physical labor, there's less coordination, there's less purpose, focus. I have all this time now, and what am I going to do with the time? Well, let me do this. This is exciting, right? So again, my solution for that is go back to work, or I can take work off in the morning if there's really good surf, and surf throughout the morning. I'm okay with that, but going back to work, it makes sense. There's no reason to trade full time, because it just leads to this. Again, when I'm saying trading full time, I mean with my time. Like, I plan to be a full time trader. It just doesn't even make sense to say that. I own a trading business. I make most of my money from trading. I don't spend that much time on it. I spend an hour a day. It doesn't make sense to spend more time on that. It's harmful, right? I've done enough back testing. I've studied enough price history. I understand what is a high probability setup on a daily chart. And everybody knows these things, and it's not going to change. This is how price moves, right? It needs to be adjusted over the years, or through market cycles, but typically like a pin bar, bullish, bearish engulfing, like high time frame breakouts, there's something there, right? So boredom. Need to make my life more interesting. Part of that is going back to work. Another part of it is my life would be more interesting with a girlfriend. I don't want to just have a girlfriend, settle for whatever the first opportunity is. I've been out of a relationship now for maybe 6 months. Having someone in the early morning, or the like a live-in girlfriend partner late at night to talk with or have an activity with, that would be helpful for just making my life more interesting. So that's another thing that I'm trying to work on. But just trying to make my life more interesting. I keep thinking, how do I make my life more interesting? And part of it is as well as just like interacting with people around me. Like I was sitting here in the evening thinking like, man, my life's kind of boring. Like, what am I doing? And I walk outside, and I live in a really interesting place, and I go to the beach, and there's really good waves. I take the dog for a walk. I kind of wish I had gone surfing, but I went surfing this morning. I went on a 10-mile bike ride. I was tired. I already walked the dog on the beach twice. didn't really feel like I had the energy for it, whatever. But it's like, how can I call my life boring when I have this opportunity to surf these great waves? And then I'm looking around on the beach, and there's like so many people having fun, families, interesting people I could talk to. I could approach this person. I could talk to these people. And like, how can I? If my life's boring, it's entirely my own fault. And I'm thinking, how can I make my life more interesting? Go out and surfing, and then talk to the people next to me. Like, how can I make my life more interesting? Go to the beach, talk to people at the beach. That's an easy thing that I can do. So boredom. Now another one is need to make money. So needing to make money, or feeling like I need to make money, is another trigger for this, which it has less to do with, it doesn't necessarily make me watch live price action, but it might make me go put on a bad trade where it's like, well, this account's, if it's a challenge, say it's a challenge account that's in drawdown and running out of time. Well, I'm just looking for trades. I just want to gamble to give it a chance to win, right? But also, if I'm stressed on money and I think like, okay, I really need to make money. I need to stop losing money. I need to make money. This isn't an A plus trade setup, but it can work in my favor. It's a B trade. I'm gonna put it on. I need to make something. No. So I need to really detach from money. I need to be okay that I have enough capital, and also I need to be okay that I. Yeah. Also, going back and working a job is going to help with this. The job that I have, it doesn't pay well it paid reasonably well when I did it because I lived on site and I got free rent and I got free food and I got paid on top of it. No bills and I get paid too. That's not too bad. Now that I live off, it's a low hourly. There's some perks like free food, so it's not too bad. But that's not why I do it. I do it because it's quite social and it's really entertaining and it's healthy. I'm outside. I'm doing farming and pulling weeds or planting something and harvesting and talking to young travelers, talking to friends that I've now had for how long have I been here? Since 2017, like 5-6 years. Yeah, so that takes the pressure off needing to make money. And also, a couple other things that take pressure off needing to make money. If I have stats that, one, if I'm making money, there's less pressure to make money. Two, if I have stats that show that I'm making money based on if I follow the system, then there's just a lot less pressure. And I know that I can, like I remind myself, last year with a similar capital stake, I had a $4,000 a month, then I had a $45,000 a month, then I had a $16,000 a month, and there's no reason I can't do that again if I can just stop doing this, but I know all the triggers and I'm slowly eliminating them, right? And some days I'm really good, some days I'm not good, but slowly improving. Something that's also helping me with my need to make money is realizing, like, if I can just trade these setups and I can trade them with size when they come up, it shouldn't be hard for me to pass challenges. And once I'm passing challenges, the risk reward of a challenge is so asymmetrical, positive. Now it's really hard to do because of this, and also, or if you don't have the technical setups yet, but it's really hard to pass a challenge because of this. If we eliminate that, I'm not saying it's easy to pass a challenge, but the risk reward is asymmetrical. You risk $1,000, you get a $200,000 capital. You have like infinite leverage. It's really just a highly leveraged $20,000 account that you get 80% off of. So really, it's profits off 16,000. But risk 1,000 to get the profits off a $16,000 account, 16R. It's asymmetrical risk reward. So knowing that, like, it's the moment I'm consistently profitable again, and the right way, but the moment I'm consistently profitable, I will just be smashing funding challenges, and I can make a lot from very little. You know, my last $10,000 could win 4 challenges, and now I have almost $1 million to trade with, or really like close to 100,000 to trade with, right? So that helps, but all this, even during my profitable period, man, I went I went through this at times, and I wish it didn't have to be this way, but I feel like going through this has been necessary. I wouldn't say it's necessary, but it's been so eye-opening. It's been so um, such a teaching moment for myself. It's been so good for my self-awareness to, it's like not just overnight realize that like, hey, there's an addictive process at play here, and there's all these triggers that feed into it, and slowly eliminate my phone, get my laptop, create a set schedule, um, don't participate in trading groups, don't talk about trading ideas, don't check or even be exposed to price, make my life interesting so I'm not bored, relieve myself from the need to make money, change my habits around my schedule so I'm not trading as much, and then fixing my beliefs where I believe, and this is where um, a lot of it is the belief. So right, like I quit. I was a stoner, man. I smoked weed almost every day for 10 years. I think I had a 6 month stint of sobriety in there. So if I travel, I did a lot of traveling, and sometimes when I would travel to a new place, I wouldn't smoke weed for a couple of weeks. Maybe I wouldn't smoke every day. Most of the time, I was in the habit of smoking weed every day. During all that time, I was definitely in the habit of drinking caffeine every day. But I was able to quit drinking alcohol, quit smoking weed, and quit caffeine. And not only that, I can be around someone who's drinking. I can smell coffee, and I'm like, that smells great, but I'm not interested in drinking it. And I can, with smoking weed, I can be sitting at a barbecue cookout, and I'm hanging out with my friends, and they're smoking weed and they're drinking alcohol. No judgment, but I have the belief that that's bad for me. That's poison. Weed's gonna give me an anxiety attack. I don't want to do that. It's going to set me back so much. I remember the last time I did it was a horrible experience. I don't do that anymore. I don't even think about it. It's offered to me. There's no temptation. Just pass it. Um, Coffee, it's going to cause me to be all jittery, and it's just, I don't even want to go down that road again. Belief here, though, is the belief that, like, I should check my position because I might get an exit signal, right? I should check the chart. Maybe an alert went off where there's a good entry. Well, now this is the belief I've had, and I've really only examined these beliefs in the past week, where which was, a challenge of like the responsible. I keep thinking the responsible thing to do is to check my position. Well, now I'm here. Well, now what I changed my belief on is that anything less than a daily signal is noise and not probabilistically good, and trading low time frame is a scam. So it's I should stay away from anything that is not the daily close. I should not check the chart outside of the daily close. I might get stopped out of my trade, but my stop loss will handle that. Price might advance in my favor. My take profit will take care of that, and I will evaluate with the next daily signal. Maybe I don't get a signal and I do nothing. Maybe I do get a signal, and I can act. I can close. I can change it. Whatever it is. So. Yeah, beliefs, man. Where now believing like it's bad, it's not helpful, it's gonna cost me money. Where it wasn't even very recently. Like the responsible thing to do is to check all the time. No, that just leads to this. The responsible thing to do is to only wait until the daily close and then trade that daily close if there's an opportunity that is screaming off the chart, huge sweeping pin bar, or major high time frame breakout on the daily chart. Anything else is a no trade for me. Right? Now, there might be an opportunity to add on if I get an inside bar in my direction, or there might be an opportunity there might be some confusion over inside, but I mean typically like an A plus is good. And if I just trade those and I risk and I avoid doing this and I stay away from all the bad trades, I'm gonna make so much money. But it's hard to do, and one by one I'm fixing these habits. So like this one is done. This one is mostly done. This one is getting fixed. This one is getting fixed, right? This one I got my lockbox on the way. That's getting fixed. Belief's getting fixed. Trade talk, I talked to this guy. I need to make money. That's sort of a problem, but again, going back to work is going to help with that a little bit. And just having statistics and so on will help with that too. But yeah, that's my understanding of the over trading loop, of how it works, the roller coaster, the triggers that cause it, and how to fix it. So yeah, the main thing is continue to work on these beliefs. Like, and I guess it's good. Like every time I deviate, it's a loss. Like I've had so many times where I've lost 10 trades in a row, right? And all 10 were bad trades. All 10 were outside of system. All 10 were low time frame. All 10 were maybe closed before stop. And it's just a very slow process, especially when you get mixed messaging. Something I studied in psychology. I took different psychology classes in college, right? Is like when you get unpredictable rewards, it is addictive. So that's what trading is. And but what slowly over time, though, when you lose over and over, and you have a desire to win, you figure out what you should probably not do. But it takes a long time. It takes a long time to get there. So yeah, that's the overtrading loop and what I'm doing. Hope you found it helpful. Hope you found it useful. And much love. Let's get this.